We'll do it in a formal way and as we traditional like to do it. So let me say shalom, shalom to everybody. On behalf of Mashav, the Israeli Agency for International Development Cooperation, MATC, Mashav's Agricultural Training Center, and the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel, we are all very honored to welcome you and thank you so much for joining us today for this special event marking World Environment Day 2024. As you for surely know, World Environment Day held annually on June 5th since 1973 is an opportunity to highlight the need for collective actions to protect and restore our planet. Today, we are very happy to have this opportunity to join the efforts of the international community in making our world a better place and to share with you all a bit of Israel's experience in restoring its natural ecosystems and supporting biodiversity. I am very proud of launching today this partnership between Mashav and the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. So, first of all, let me invite Mr. Eyal David, representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to greet you on behalf of Mashav. Eyal, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Evelyn, and thank you all for joining us today. Shalom, everyone. We are celebrating today two special days. The one day is the Jerusalem Day, the day that is dedicated to our capital, Jerusalem, where the headquarters of Mashav are. And the second day is the World Environment Day, of course, which the reason which we gathered today here online. We are very happy to launch this part.
Oh, Eyal, your mic.
Oh, yes. Okay. We are very happy, I'll repeat, we are very happy to launch today the partnership with the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. With this conference, we hoped that we could do it on the ground, but because of the situation and the war, we are doing it online. But I hope that very soon we'll pray together and we'll hope that the war will end and all our hostages will be released so that we can be back to normal lives. And I want to say a few words about Mashav. So for those of you who are not aware of who we are, so Mashav is Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation. We have projects and activities all over the world, in Africa and Latin America and East Asia. And usually we have around 3,000 professionals that are coming to be trained in Israel in the centers that we have. And one of these centers, of course, is the centers in Shfaim, the Center for Agricultural Training, which organizes this conference today. I encourage all of you to follow Mashav on social media and follow the website to see the opportunities that we share. You can see you in Israel in the courses or in the courses we do in the respective countries. I want to thank the CEO of the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel for speaking with us today. We are very much excited about this collaboration with you. The Society for Protection of the Nature of Israel is doing many beautiful projects in Israel and around the world. And personally, I had the opportunity to witness what they do with their counterparts in Morocco, where I was the deputy head of mission. And I'm looking forward for this collaboration, and I'm speaking on behalf of Mashav, and I'm looking forward to hear your lecture, the CEO, Mr. Alon. So thank you very much, and I invite all of the participants to join us also in Israel in the project of Mashav and the Society of Protection of Nature in Israel in the future. So thank you very much and enjoy the lecture.
Thank you very much, Eyal. Yeah, we have to visit some of their places to see so many birds there. It will be great. So everybody invited. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dan Alon. Dan is the current CEO of the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel, which is Israel's oldest and largest environmental NGO. He has been the architect of a number of projects, among them the Crane Project, which led to the establishment of the Hula Lake National Park, Israel's largest birding park and leading tourist destination. In 2019, Dan initiated Startup Nature, an ambitious plan to restore 25% of Israel's historic wetlands, something like 12,000 acres, through rewilding by 2050. Dan has also been a critical part in launching and managing joint conservation projects with the Palestinian Authority and Jordan, including for birds and people in the Jordan Valley, a multinational project for bird conservation in the Jordan Valley between Palestinians, Jordanians, and Israelis, run under the auspices of BirdLife International. He is one of the editors of Israel's Red Book of Birds, a guide on the state of Israel's bird life. He obtained his first title in biology from Haifa University and his master's in zoology and ecology from the Life Science Department of Tel Aviv University. And something very special, in 1999, Dan was named one of Time magazine's Heroes of the Planet. Well, it's now my pleasure to invite Dan Alon for his lecture, Startup Nature, Rewilding Israel's Historic Wetlands in this special World Environment Day. Dan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. Thank you, Eyal. Thank you for the introduction. Let me share my presentation. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes, fine, great.
Okay, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon from Israel, wherever you are. Evelyn introduced me, so I don't need to say much about myself. It's been already saying. So I will go straight to my to the point. I would like to start with saying a little bit about SPNI, and to start with why Israel is important and why SPNI is here to work. So we work to protect the environment in Israel. We also, because Israel is located in such important area, so we also work for the world biodiversity and environment. I will talk about it. And of course, sharing globally with partners. It was mentioned here, BirdLife International, IUCN, the UN biodiversity protecting, and many organizations around the world. So what I want to start saying a little bit, introducing the SPNI, what we do. So we do conservation. We work to protect the nature of Israel. We do a lot of advocacy in the planning system of Israel, in the political system of Israel, etc., etc. Of course, education. We can't work for nature. We can't work for civil society if we don't do education. Ecotourism is part of our mission. That's a way for us to bring people to nature, to show them the beauty of nature, and to bring them as part of our friendship and partnership with the nature. So what we do in conservation, our main big target for many years is to protect the biodiversity ecosystem of Israel. We're doing that by working daily, annually for 70 years in most of the Israeli system that I would say impact the nature and the environment of Israel. It's mainly through the planning system of Israel, in Israel, because it's so small and because of the dense population, we need to plan very smart. So being part of the planning system of Israel, it's very important junction to protect the ecosystem, the biodiversity, and ecological corridors. What I mean by ecological corridors, I mean the area between the protected area. I mean, if we have nature reserve or national parks, in between there are agriculture area, there are sometimes no man lands, there are areas where nature can still survive, but it's not protected. And it's a very important part of the system because it's connect the nature reserve and the parks. So protecting biodiversity is one. Protecting the sea, as many of you may know, the sea is one of the most important biodiversity system. It's important for the biodiversity. It's important for us as human beings because much of our economy is coming from the sea. It's important for the climate. So what we do is mainly creating protected area in the sea, in the Mediterranean area of Israel, and lately also in the Gulf of Aqaba, the Gulf of Eilat. This protected area is where we can protect the ecosystem in the sea, and by that, protecting the biodiversity, helping the climate, etc., etc. We're also working on fishery policy and everything that impact our sea. Rivers, well, maybe we should call it streams. We don't really have rivers like many of the countries here have, but we do have beautiful streams, and that's including the Jordan River and many others. So our work is basically to make sure that this river will have a natural water, clean water, but also that there will be no developing near these streams, and making sure that the streams are protected and healthy. And this is very important again for biodiversity and also for the climate and for the people of Israel who needs these streams and rivers to enjoy. We work on urban nature, we promote urban nature. This is, as an example, in the city of Jerusalem, the Gazelle Valley, an amazing, important new park in the middle of Jerusalem, where this beautiful animal, the mountain gazelle, we still have a small population in the city of Jerusalem in this park. The importance of urban nature is one, of course, to protect the nature, but also to connect between people that live in this city and the important nature that we have in the city. We work hard to as I said, in the planning system of Israel, and one of our main target is to make sure that when people, and that will be the future of Israel, it's kind of what we already have in Israel. People will live in big cities, so this is important that in order to protect the biodiversity, people needs to live in big city, but we want them to have a good quality of life with nature in cities. So planning system and urban nature is coming together to help people live in a better city. We work with our neighbors. Of course, today, this last few months and also before is a challenging time, but we still have working with our neighbors. This is, for example, an amazing project where we Israelis and Palestinians and Jordanians are working together to promote the using of barn owls to control the use of pesticides in fields, especially in alfalfa and other crop. By using barn owls, we reduce dramatically the use of pesticide, and by that we're also protecting. Of course, we protect the food system for the people of Israel and the people in the region, but it also protect a habitat for bird migration that use these these fields on their migration from Europe, Asia, on the way to Africa. I will speak about it later, about 500 million birds passing through Israel from Europe, Asia to Africa, and on the way back. So by protecting these fields from using of pesticides, we protect basically the birds of Europe, the birds of Asia. So it's a global effort. SPNI is here for 70 years. We established in 1953 by a group of scientists and teachers and educators. During the years since we started, we helped to preserve the coral reef in the Gulf of Eilat, the Gulf of Aqaba, to preserve the Carmel forest, to protect the wildflower population of Israel, to rewild the Chula wetland, the project that I was very much involved, to enable land for the streams, for the rivers, what I mentioned earlier, to save the dunes along the coast. This is, for the example, in Ashdod. We created the Israeli National Train, was one of the most iconic trail when thousands, hundreds of thousands of people hiking every year from up in the north to down in Eilat. We developed the Gazelle Valley, I just mentioned, in Jerusalem, preserved the Jerusalem forest, submitted the first marine protected area. I mentioned that earlier. And in the last few years, and that's what I'm going to show you in a few minutes, we started a big rewilding project. We call it Startup Nature. I will talk about it in a minute. Also, in the last year, we're helping hundreds of thousands of Israelis during this very, very traumatic time where people need nature to recover from the trauma, for the time we are all feeling right now. taking hundreds of thousands of people outside to the nature as part of to help people to taking care of the trauma. So I would like to talk about Startup Nature, and this is what we use: small country, global responsibility. I will try to explain why. So as I mentioned earlier, about 500 million birds passing through Israel from the eastern part of Europe. If you mark a line, imagine a line crossing Europe in the middle, let's say along the line between East and West Germany, from this area to the east, the entire eastern part of Europe, plus the entire central and western part of Asia. There are billions of birds, maybe, I don't know, 2 billion birds that migrate from this area to Africa. Many of these birds, about half of them, maybe a quarter of them, are passing through Israel. Why they do that? You can see it in the map that's showing that the short and the only way to cross through land from from Asia and from Asia to Africa, sorry, from Asia and from Europe to Africa is through Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and then going down to Africa by crossing the Sahara. So we are a very important stopover site on this migration routes, migration corridor. You can see here a flock of white storks, an iconic European birds that breed almost everywhere in Europe, but all of them migrate to Africa in the autumn. So the entire population of the eastern part of Europe are passing through Israel, and this beautiful picture of about, I don't know, 200, maybe 3,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 storks was taken in the Hula a few years ago. This is the setting in Israel during spring and autumn, thousands of birds. So we have the responsibility to protect these birds, to protect the birds of Europe, the birds of Asia that are crossing to Israel. What I mean by protecting, so one is, of course, making sure that people don't harm them, don't shoot them, don't catch them, don't perch them, don't use pesticides. Don't as I described earlier. We have the responsibility to protect these birds. So the law of Israel is very strict about it. We cannot touch, if you want, and we cannot poison the birds that passing through Israel. There's a very, very, very small hunting in Israel. It's very, very small, even if we compare it to the size of the population of Israel, if we compare it to Europe or Asia. So this is one part, and SPNI was very, very involved in making all these laws and making sure that these laws are also enforced. But the second part of it, and this is very important, is to make sure that these birds and these storks, as an example, will have sites to land, to roost, to rest, to forage, and this is where Startup Nature comes. So Israel have a very good system of nature reserve and national parks and protected area, but The part of this system that Israel almost lost completely is our wetland. There are hardly any natural wetland left in Israel. This is due to a process that started in the early 20s when the first Israelis started to create agriculture in Israel, and most of these wetlands was taken to agriculture. This is a process that happens all over the world, but Israel, because it's so small, because it's so dense, the amount of natural wetland that left is very, very small. So our challenge is how in such small and dense country we can recreate wetland, and doing that by using nature-based solution. We don't want to create, you know, a very, I would call it developing based or something like that. Nature, we would like to follow the nature-based solution to bring water, not by using electric and not by using pumping system, etc., to bring them in a natural way, to let the vegetation grow in the natural way, and etc. And of course, to design these sites as similar as we can to the way that nature should look. So the vision of Startup Nature is to rewild about 25% of our historical wetland. When we started the project, the situation in Israel is that we only managed to protect 10% of the Israeli historic wetland. We do it by creating network of sanctuaries, which will be for birds, for biodiversity, for the nature, but also for people. So in some of them, we create infrastructures and facilities for people to enjoy this nature. This important nature is not only for the nature, is also for us, for people. How we do it with it. So we find out about 5 years ago, or maybe more than that, maybe 9 years ago, we find out that Israel have a big chain, of fish ponds. These fish ponds are was established in, let's say, during the first half of the last century to raise fish for the Israeli market, and for not only for the Israeli market, but slowly these fish ponds become less and less economic for the owners, and they will start searching for other option what to do with these fish farms. We realized that for us it's an opportunity that we can take these fish farms and recreate nature. These fish farms actually all of them are located on historical wetland, near streams, near rivers, in an area where there's a lot of flooding during winter. And this is for us a great opportunity that we can, of course, help the biodiversity, of course, the migrating bird, protect also rare species. Here you can see as an example the greater spotted eagle, and as well as imperial eagle, but also many other birds, but also supporting common species of birds and common species, and not only birds, the entire biodiversity. Our first project is in Kfar Upin. Kfar Upin is located on the eastern part of Israel, just near the River Jordan. What you can see if you look number 11 in my slide is a fish pond that located near the Jordan River. The Jordan River is the line you can see on the right part of this slide. Under this blue line, the blue line is the border. Near the blue line, you can see this breaking line. This is the River Jordan, and this fish ponds was actually created in 1952, 1953 by creating a bank on the just near the river on the on the line of the river, and they basically what they did is they create a pond. This is the pond. The pond, you can see the picture here. You can see the River Jordan on the left, and you can see the form of the pond, and you can see it's a very natural looking like a pond, and this is what we have today. It's 50-acre amazing wetland located, like I said, on the River Jordan, on the border with Jordan. The water is coming from a spring called the Avuka Spring, which located about 5 kilometers west from this pond. For 70 years, the water of this spring was taken to use in the agriculture field of Kibbutz Kfar Upin. When we built this project, we also managed to get the water of the spring to rewild the stream and to connect the stream to this amazing wetland. So the water here are completely based nature-based solution. We don't need a pump. We don't use electricity. It's a completely natural system. This is in the middle of the winter when the pool is full. This is how nature behaves. During autumn, it will be almost empty. It will be a mud flat that is very important for the millions of migratory birds. So this is our first project. This is the second project, which we are just in the very last minute of creating on the Mediterranean coast of Israel, just south of Haifa, near the Kibbutz Ma'agan Michael. If you look on the numbers, pool number 18, number 21, 28, and 29 are not fish ponds anymore. These are going to be a new park. You can see the crocodile stream near it. This is where the water comes from. Unfortunately, we need to use a little bit of tractor work here to take the fish pond and recreate it for nature. And this is how nature back slowly to life. This is the outcome of the first project. over 200 species of birds already been recorded there, including some important species, as I mentioned, important species that already breed, like the ferruginous duck and the marble teal and the purple heron. Ferruginous duck and marble ducks are both global endangered species that are on the second year of the project already start breeding there, which is very, very encouraging for us, but also reptiles, amphibians, insects, etc., etc. And we all waiting for one more thing, which I show in a minute. I told you that it's also including infrastructures for people to enjoy this nature. One and a half years ago, I was managed to bring to the site a great friend of us, the General Mansour from Jordan, who is really a great partner of us. General Mansour have a lot of projects in the Jordan River on the Jordanian side of the border. I showed him the project in Kfar Upin, and I told him that I suggest that we together create a project like that in Jordan, and we can connect them together. General Mansour told me, Dan, it's a great idea, let's do it. Few months later, he came back to me and said, Dan, I talked to the people at the Jordanian government, to the people of the Jordan River Authority and the private people, the private owners of the lands. We can go ahead. We were ready to start everything and create a site on the Jordanian side. Unfortunately, because of the situation right now, everything is freeze, but I'm sure that it's will back to life in a year, in 2 years. We still here. This is our vision. We want to do it, and we will, because when we dream big dreams, at the end they all come. And this is what we would like to have our next dream for our sites. Otters in Israel are very, very rare. They were, I would say, still exist in Israel because of the fish ponds, and now by creating from these fish ponds, I would say a nature network of sites. We hope very much that the otter will be one of the big gains of this. So where are we going? In the first step, and this has already happened, not only the project in Kfar Upin in Magan Michael, there are also others. We probably by the end of next year, we will be in 1,500 acres. It's a lot for Israel. In 3 years from now, 3,000 acres, and by 20 years from now, we hope to have 12,000 acres of natural wetland in Israel, thanks to this project. I want to say a few words about things that happened today, connected and not connected to Startup Nature. So as you all know, October 7, Israel is under a terrible war. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis needs to evacuate from their houses. No mention the people that still in Gaza, but hundreds of thousands of Israeli needs the nature to help them to recover, and that's what we do for the last year. taking thousands of people to the nature. That's including young people that are really in a risk right now because they are not at their natural habitat, if I can say, the natural place. They need this nature to help them, to recover from the trauma, and this is where we are now. We do it in a I would say like I said, maybe thousands of people joining us. We also do it for the general public of Israel because we believe that nature is part of the recovering from this trauma. And also, this is also time for us to say, but while and when we protect this nature, we protect it also for time like that when people need to escape somewhere, people need to breed, and nature is not only to protect biodiversity, is also to help people. I just want to mention at the end that we take a lot of people outside to the nature from Israel and from abroad. Ecotourism is part of what we do. It's a lot of birding trip, but not only. So if you visit Israel, if you want to see the nature, if you want to enjoy nature, if you want us to show you the beauty of the nature of Israel, we're happy to help, to show, to share. This is part of our mission. Thank you, and I'm here to answer questions, and thank you very much for being with us.
Oh, Dan, thank you very much. Wow, very nice. Okay, I think we are not a very big group here, so if there are questions, I think it would be great to do it directly. So whoever wants to ask something, please only, yeah, thank you, raise your hand and open your mic and freely ask. Yes, Kosovo, Ms. Cambery, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Alon, for your kind presentation. It was really interesting to hear your experience. What I want to ask is that how many % of the surface in Israel is under Natura 2000?
How many people, what?
How many % of the surface is protected under Natura 2000 in Israel?
25% of Israel is a nature reserve. As you know, the target for 2030 is 30% on land and in the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean, 2030 is a little bit more difficult, but I think that Israel will achieve the 30% on land by 2030.
Yeah, may I ask another thing?
Yes, sure.
Do you have a lot of species, I mean, birds that are that have habitat in Israel and that are belong in a directive of the European Union, bird directive of European Union? How many species do you know that you have some species that are belongs in directives?
Yeah, like as I mentioned, hundreds of millions of European birds passing through Israel. The question is about endangered species or European species as all?
Yes, the species that belong that have habitat in Israel that belong in the European directive.
About 300 European species passed through Israel during the two migration seasons.
Oh,
That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dan.
Can I ask a question?
Sorry.
Dan, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course, yes.
As I understand, or as I know, sometimes these migrating birds are causing some damage or to farmers in the north. Can you tell us a little bit about how these farmers are dealing with this damage?
You're on mute, Teddy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My question is, as we know, or correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes these migrating birds crossing through Israel are causing some troubles or damage to farmers, especially to fish ponds or to crops in the north. Can you tell us a little bit about how these farmers are dealing with this, or how is your society dealing with this problem? If it's a problem anyway.
Yes, it is a problem. It's a problem not only in Israel, it's a problem all over the world. It's a problem in Europe as well. It's a problem everywhere where birds have less habitat to forage, less habitat to roost, so they go to agriculture, and also agriculture is very tentative for them because there's a lot of food there. So there are few, the way of dealing with that is mainly to, first of all, to research and to understand what is the problem. I will give you the example of the hula. I was behind this project. We find out that about 100,000 European crane, Euro-Asian crane, passing through the Hula Valley, and slowly, more and more of them start to stop at the Hula Valley because of the agriculture. The reason they do it is because during autumn, the farmer at the Hula is harvesting peanuts from the ground, and there's a lot of tons of peanuts left on the ground after the harvesting, and for the crane is a gold. It's a gold mine because it's tons of protein, of fat, everything they need for the migration. So by eating the peanuts, there's no harm. It's even helpful because they take these peanuts from the ground and etc. But some of these cranes are stay there for the winter, and then they can create damage for wheat, for potatoes, for things like that. What we did, we create for them an area, a protected area, where they can forage and they can land, and then they can roost. And by chasing them from the agriculture into this protected area, we managed to reduce the damage, not reduce, to basically to prevent the damage and help these birds to go through the winter. So this is one way of dealing that. There are many others. I also must say that many of these birds are are great helpers for these farmers, because the group of storks, for the example, that we saw earlier, storks eats rodents. So a group of 10,000 storks that now taking, I don't know, 10,000 rodents. It can be mice, and it can be vole and whatever. It's of course helping the farmers to reduce the amount of pest in the field. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Dan. Sorry, Luke, you were beginning to do a question and somehow we didn't hear you. Yeah, please.
So, Dan, you spoke a lot about the pressure of development on nature and wildlife in Israel. Here in the UK, we have laws where developers have to pay money towards the restoration of habitat per each development. Are there any plans in Israel to bring in any similar legislation?
Yes. So what I didn't mention here about Startup Nature, yes. So the situation in Israel is that because Israel is so small and dense, most of the lands in Israel belong to the country, belong to the government. So the Land Authority of Israel, for each acre they develop, a promille, 0.01% of the money that was taken from the developers is going for restoration. Last year, this foundation gave about 400 million shekel for restoration projects in Israel. So Startup Nature is also, for the developing of the site, is using this money. Our part is, first of all, to get this money from the foundation, but also get money for the managing of the site and the maintaining of the site. And this part we do by raising money through philanthropy and through other options. So the project I already show here, basically a project that we managed to get the developing from the government, and we managed to raise the fund to maintain and manage them for the future. So the answer for your question is yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan.
Sorry, I forgot to open my mic. Thank you for both of you, Dan and Luke. And let's go to Vietnam. Huy, please.
Okay, can you hear me, Lily?
We hear you, yes.
Yes, okay. So I want to say thank you with the high representation, and my question is about how do you balance between the protect the wetland area in Israel and the employs the ecotourism in Israel associated with the wetland? Yes, I want to know more. Yes, thank you so much.
We have a lot of cooperation with the Ministry of Tourism about that. We work a lot with the private sector in Israel to promote and to and as well as for the infrastructures for tourists. Personally, in my previous career, I used to go a lot, for example, to England, to the amazing bird fair in August in Rutland Water. I see that Luke is is smiling. I think most of the people in England know it, and that's international event that a lot of people can hear about project like that. So working with private sector, working with the government. Also, we have an amazing project called Champion of the Flyways, which is it's a bird race where people race to see amount of species of birds, but it's create a lot of awareness. Awareness for the birds of Israel, awareness for the importance of protecting them, but also how good is Israel for people that wants to see birds and nature. So we use a lot of methods like that.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask one more question. Yes. So I want I know now the election is the hot topic, especially with the natural protesting. And I want to I want you can tell me about the policy of Israel to protect the wetland to focus with the climate change today. Yes, thank you.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I understand you. Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. So I want to ask you about the policy of Israel to protect the wetland focus with the climate change today.
Okay, that's a complicated question. So Israel is committed to the 30% protecting of each habitat. The implementation is more challenging, and therefore, us, the SPNI, as NGO, we came in areas where we realized that the government is challenging and will be, for them, it will be difficult to get these targets. I'm very happy to say that the government is joining the project, and this is, of course, how at the end we can implement in a faster and easier way.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Let's go to Malawi. We have here Asafu. First of all, he says in the chat, thank you for the wonderful presentation, Dan. And the question is, how are we protecting birds from pesticides being used in agriculture?
So I show one system of using barn owls. The other system is, of course, a lot of legislation for reducing the use of pesticide which create harm for biodiversity, helping farmers to use different methods. There are different methods. I'll give you one example. By using a special irrigation system that actually kind of flood the fields instead of irrigate, you can deal with rodents. So as from the data I have, Israel reduced pesticide in the last 15 years by more than 50% by using this system and others. Of course, it's a lot of government work to create the right methods to help farmer in one hand and taking I would say a phase out of wrong pesticides out of the system.
Thank you, Dan, on behalf of Asafu. Okay, let's go to Cambodia. Mr. Hank, please.
Okay, hello. My name is Sokran, and I'm also a student go to intensive in Israel. But now I'm already come back to my home country. I have one question. I think it's a really funny question because I used to live in Moshe Lagish, and the thing that I saw that in Israel don't have a river or a lakes, right? So how can the bird find the water to drink?
How can the birds find what?
Water.
They you mean the migrating birds, how they find the wetland, or how they basically what you say, Lachish is very dry, how can birds find water? Okay, so they don't find them in Lachish because there are hardly any wetland in Lachish, but there are wetlands up in the north, along the Rift Valley, along the coast of Israel, and not all the migratory birds needs water. Lachish, for example, is in a very important natural habitat. We call it Bata, where hundreds of thousands, maybe more, small birds, passerine songbirds, are using this habitat, the Bata, to forage on insects, as an example, and fruits and things like that. So Lachish is not a wetland area, but there are others.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Dan, I don't know if you can answer this question about edible plants, about species, plant species. Can you answer a question about biodiversity?
Edible plants for biodiversity or for people?
How many species of wild edible plants do we have here in Israel for conservation?
Almost. Well, that's a very tricky question, because birds and rodents and reptiles can. I mean, for them, most of the plants are edible. If the question is about berries and figs and things like that, so Israel is not a very rich country with such kind of edible plant, but the animals, the birds, the bats will find in almost every plant something to eat. It can be seeds, it can be fruits, and it can be other part of the plant.
Thank you, Dan. Another question? Somebody has another question in the heart? I think before we say bye-bye, I think it would be great. We are only 29 people now here. So maybe very, very quickly, maybe each of you can introduce yourself very short, like where are you from and if you are dealing with birds or what. So, okay, so I'll tell you. Okay, we heard Kosovo, Luke, we heard Elena, maybe one word about you. And if you can open your cameras, it would be great. So we will do a picture, a family picture.
Hello. Well, I live in Israel. I live in a kibbutz in Emek Hefer, but I'm originally from Brazil, as Evelyn knows well. My interest is that, well, I really like birds. I love seeing them flying as we have here in Israel in these months that they come and go, which is very, very impressive if you're next to the ponds and looking at it. That's but it's just amateur for my part. So that's it.
Thank you, Elena. You are doing something very similar near your kibbutz, huh?
Yes.
Bernard, where are you from?
Hello, I'm from Kenya. Hello.
Yes, we hear you. We hear you.
Yes, I'm from Kenya. I am a teacher, and I'm also interested in birding. I've heard a lot of interesting things about birding, and it's quite good about the migratory birds and all that. It's good to know that there's a lot of birds in Israel, and I'm also interested in climate change and all about the environment. I'm also a geography teacher, so it's all interests me to know about climate change. So I'm a Kenyan, and I like what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, Hank, we heard from Cambodia, Hui from Vietnam. Ramon, please.
Shalom, I'm from Philippines. I'm working as a security guard and disaster responder. My family have a farm in Bulacan. That's why I always listen in farming. We have a sanctuary of birds in the place that my family was living. That's why I always listen to the story about birds. Shalom.
Thank you, thank you. Your mic is not very well, but I think we managed to understand. Asafu, would you like to say something? Or well, you wrote before. I don't know if your mic is working. Catherine, where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria.
And working with birds or something in nature?
I deal with environment conservation, and I've had a few dealings with gray birds, parrots. So I'm kind of interested, and I actually came here to learn more.
Good. We have some problems done, no, with these nice green parrots in Israel.
Okay.
Dan, you.
Well, I don't really know much about the Nile parrot as such.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, I asked you. We have some problems with these green, very sweet parrots, but they are so noisy.
Parrots are noisy.
It's invasive species in
them.
Yes. Well, thank you,
quite a lot of them too in Nigeria, and they're being endangered. That's why I'm kind of interested in them. They hunt them and they sell them like into wildlife trade. So that's one of the reasons why I had to join, although I joined in late because I had some technical issues. But at least I learned a few things that I will take home and work with. That I'm grateful for.
Good, good, good. Okay. We have here some other people without cameras. So for next time, okay? We hope to see you. Dear friends, first of all, Dan, thanks so much for this interesting lecture and for the interesting work you are doing. And thank you for so much you are doing it for all of us. I would like also to say thank you very much to Gil, also from the Society of Protection for Nature. He has been our partner in organizing this web conference. So Gil, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us today. I would like to put you in the chat our, oh no, sorry, this is not, wait a minute. I will put you in the chat the links for our YouTube page and our Facebook page in order that you will keep updated from time to time. We are organizing this type of meetings, and hopefully we will soon come back to our normal activities, which are mainly training programs, international training programs here in Israel, and also abroad. So hopefully we will be able to return to this activity soon. So thank you, everybody, and let's continue working together for doing a better world, and wish you still a great day, and all the best until soon. So shalom to everybody.
Thank you. Shalom. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Bye.